All right, welcome everyone to the LAO Centralized Access Channels and Services presentation. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are excited to give you an overview of the intake services that the public is free to access. This session is an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have about the range of service options LAO has available today. We also welcome any feedback that you have about how the information is presented today. We will be distributing a short survey at the end of our presentation. We will be taking this presentation on the road, presenting to other community partners across the province with help from regional partners. So your feedback is extremely important to us. So just over the past couple years, working with many legal aid departments and regional staff, we have been working to improve the way we serve clients, including streamlining access, intake and eligibility processes, and introducing new digital channels. By focusing on widening clients' access points, LAO has made it easier for our client to get the information they need, making applications easier for clearly eligible clients, and allowing applicants to go back and update any information made at their point of intake. To move with changing client capabilities, Legal Aid now offers a variety of ways to contact us beyond the phone. So before we start, I'd just like to allow our presenters or our panelists to introduce themselves. I will go first. My name is Jacqueline Cutler. I'm business advisor for the operational policy management team. My role is to provide these information sessions to our stakeholders, just to allow them to get the information they need and connect with us in a better way. So I will pass it over to John.
Thanks, Jackie. Hi, everyone. My name is John Haddad. I am the manager of the Client Business System and User Support Group. We are the team that helped, amongst many others, create the client portal, our PeopleSoft platform that our staff utilizes to onboard and service clients on a daily basis. In today's presentation, I'll be walking through all the advantages and the opportunities there are for the client portal. So thanks very much. And I'm going to pass it over to Kate.
Hi, thank you. My name is Kate Nixon. I'm a business advisor with the Regional Services Division. The Regional Service Division supports direct client service, including the Duty Counsel program and our various senior counsel offices and family law service centers. I will turn it over to Debbie.
Thanks, Kate. Good morning. I'm Debbie Pauls. I'm a manager with the Client and Lawyer Service Center, and I also manage our chat service option for clients on the external website. So turn it over to Stacy.
Hi, good morning. My name is Stacy Huxtable. I'm a family lawyer by trade, but I'm currently with the External Relations Department with Legal Aid, and I've been with our organization since 2011. I'll pass it over to Catherine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a staff lawyer. Family law also is my area of interest. I've been with Legal Aid over 20 years. My pronouns are she, her, and I work in the operation and policy management area, and I assist the applications and the Court of Appeal applications, and I'm going to speak to you about assisted applications. Welcome. And let's see, Maria, tag you.
Thank you. Hi. So my name is Maria. I work in the communications department. My pronouns are she, her, and I've worked at LAO for maybe about 2.5 years now. And as part of communications, we help develop materials for presentations like these ones. So I won't be speaking too much today, but I'm here to sit in and listen and help answer questions where I can. So with that, I will pass it to who hasn't gone, Moya.
Yeah, I think I'm the last one.
Okay,
Hi, everyone.
great.
My name is Moyo. I've been at Legal Aid for 1.5 years now. I work as a project manager for the intake and operations team. And I'll just be here to kind of help go through the questions if they come through the chat. So feel free to drop it in the chat or raise your hand if you have questions during this session. Thank you. I think that's back to Jackie now.
We also have Lisa.
Lisa.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Harvey. I am a human, although I look like a cyber being this morning. But anyways, I'm a legal aid worker in the northeast portion of the North District. I work out of our North Bay location at the North Bay Courthouse, and I will be celebrating 30 years with legal aid this August. So welcome, everyone.
Congratulations.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in really quick. I'm so sorry. I've just been called last minute to speak in another meeting, so I actually do have to drop off this call. But I know the session's going to go really well, and that you guys will have a great time and you're in good hands. So I do have to pop off, but I'm so sorry about that. I'll hear from you guys soon, I'm sure. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Maria.
No worries, bye.
Bye. Okay. So we will have Moyo who will be monitoring the chat for us. So if we have any questions as we go, she'll also be paying close attention to the time as we only have just over an hour with you today. So we just want to ensure that you have everything you need today. And again, we are recording this, so it will be made available for those that weren't able to attend. So we just would like to start off with a land acknowledgement. So the Northern Ontario region is the traditional territory of several Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Oji-Cree, and Métis peoples. Their stewardship of this land has shaped its landscapes, cultures, and histories. We acknowledge the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples and their ongoing connection to the land. Let us honor and respect their sovereignty, cultures, and contributions, both past and present. I would also like to acknowledge the Métis and Inuit people for their contributions to the land and the community. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. Myself and my colleagues at Legal Aid Ontario are committed to doing all that we can towards the calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So the main objective for running these sessions is to help you be better able to support your clients when they apply for legal aid. We will do this by going over the key features of all LAO centralized intake channels. Today's focus is on helping to ensure that you're aware of the different access channels, especially some of the newer service channels and options available for more of our at-risk or vulnerable clients. Our purpose today is to provide you with up-to-date information that may assist you with serving your clients. We believe that after the session, you will better understand what happens when you refer clients to our services. So we'll just talk a little bit about the legal aid certificate. So this certificate program involves a legal aid certificate. So this document we provide to our clients, and it confirms that we will pay for the legal aid lawyer. The client can then bring this document to a legal aid lawyer of their choosing to receive the help that they need. There are 5 key areas of law that are covered under the certificate program. So we offer coverage for defense of criminal charges, where there is a risk of incarceration if convicted. We also offer appeal of conviction and sentence matters. We offer coverage for family law matters, child protection, refugee and immigration, including basis of claim, refugee hearings, humanitarian and compassionate ground applications, judicial review of decisions, as well as mental health law matters like the Ontario Review Board, as well as consent and capacity hearings. So these are the primary access channels that we'll be going over today. And within each access channel, there are various client service options available. So the main access channel that many of you would probably know about is the contact center. So it's our most commonly known access point. Our newest access point is our live chat. So certificate applications are not processed through this channel. However, our chat agents can provide basic information for individuals to help them understand our services, including the certificate program. And then we have the client portal. So this is our online self-service option. And Legal Aid is committed to continually enhancing the service channel. We will also be providing a demo of this channel during this session, just to highlight the various functions that are available. We also have our assisted application process. These are forms that lawyers and select service providers can email LEO to facilitate a certificate application on behalf of their client. So we will speak to who is best suited to using these various access points as we progress through our presentation today. So I'm just going to pass it over to Debbie.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, so the contact center. The contact center is where we offer services over the phone. Service is available Monday to Friday during regular business hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is best suited for those who prefer to speak to somebody. Real-time interpretation is available for those who first language is not English or French. So at this point in the for this service channel, we screen out general inquiries at the initial intake stage for those clients who are calling with matters not covered under LAO's service certificate programs. So they will also provide referrals to services within legal aid, including summary legal advice callback services for criminal and family matters, referrals to community clinics, and to external services. So we process certificate applications for all matters within legal aid's coverage areas, and most clients will receive a decision on their eligibility the same day. We provide full support for immediate and longer-term client needs, including the request for review of the certificate application decisions and change of lawyer applications. So this channel also has a dedicated in-person phone service where wait times are reduced due to these clients having limited time on the phone. The contact center also includes a lawyer advice available 9 to 5 for emergency family law needs. So this can include clients who are experiencing domestic violence and have a limited call window, and they have safety concerns. If the Children's Aid Society has notified a client that they are removing their child, or the client is calling from a jurisdiction outside of Ontario and seeking advice about an Ontario family law matter. The live advice queue is also for clients who are calling with a support person due to mental health challenges, or if they are finding it difficult to coordinate a callback. Perhaps they're unhoused or inpatient in hospital and having to use the service provider's phone. So although this is the most comprehensive service channel, the service is restricted to regular business hours, which may not work for everybody. Any questions about the contact center?
No questions in the chat, no.
Okay. So chat. Chat is the newest access point for legal aid. We are celebrating our 2nd birthday this month, so it's very exciting. Chat is available in both English and French. A live agent is available to respond to general inquiries from the link on our external website. Live chat staff do not ask any personal or case-related information during their chat interaction. At the end, the clients do have the ability to print or email themselves a copy of the transcript if they've been provided with contact information for another service provider. They can print that out for themselves. And they also have the opportunity to provide feedback about their experience at the end of the interaction. So chat is available on all 300 plus pages of Legal Aid's external website. It is available Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. The average wait time to chat with one of our specialists is 16 seconds, so it's a very quick service option. We receive on average 64 chats per day, and we received 5,350 between January and April of this year. So feel free to promote the chat feature on our website for clients that have any questions about legal aid services. And although this offers support, its services are limited to information only, so they may require another service channel to progress their matter forward. Any questions about our chat service?
Nope, all good.
Okay, turn it over to John.
Thanks, Deb.
Mhm.
So we're just going to be chatting about the client portal. The client portal is a great tool that's available 24/7. I won't say 365. There's a couple days in there that we might have to just take it down to do some enhancements and some maintenance work, but it's pretty close to that. We give everybody advance warning of when that's taking place. There's an opportunity to submit applications any time of day, and we can actually see through our data that people are utilizing it at midnight, at 4 a.m., 4 p.m. Any time that is a good window for a client or yourselves to help a client apply. That's one of the great functions of it. And I'm going to be walking you through how you can onboard a client onto the client portal and all the opportunities that lies within it. For us, this version of the client portal has been operating for about 3 years now. We've had in excess of 200,000 applications attempted, and we're approaching 50,000 successful applications submitted. And that will make a little bit more sense when I walk you through it. There's a pre-screening that starts off the application to ensure that the individual is eligible to navigate through the client portal application process, which is a little bit different than just when you call. We can manage anything comparative to the client portal at this time. So with all of that being said, I'm just going to share my screen, hopefully. And if anyone could let me know if it's successful, that would be amazing. Zoom is a little different than Teams.
Not yet, John.
Not yet. Thank you. Hopefully that might have done it.
Yes, you got it.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so if at any time anybody has a question about something that you want to take the topic in a different direction that's more relevant to your guys' situation, please feel free, whether it's on the chat or if you can come off mute and ask at any time, please feel free to jump in. So this is our client portal login page. It's our home page. So similarly to any website, if the individual that you're helping has a user ID and a password, they just simply enter it in here, password, sign in, and then of course they're within the client portal system. If your client there's two other scenarios. The client could have already dealt with legal aid. They have a client number, but yet to create a client portal profile, or they're brand new to legal aid. They've never had any need for a lawyer in the past, and they just need some assistance. Both of those situations, they would come down here and click Get Started Here. Once they click Get Started Here, we give them a little blurb letting them know what's available to them, that they can apply online, they can check the status of their legal aid application, they can upload documents to us, they can change their profile information. Now, of course, if you're brand new to legal aid, the opportunity of checking your status isn't that appealing because you don't have anything to check at this time. You can't upload documents to your profile, again, that hasn't been created. But if your client has applied before, has a CLT number, creating a profile, this is available to them. But if they're brand new, what's available is just creating an application. And that has to be pertaining to a family law matter, children's aid, criminal, or refugee and immigration. They can't own property. They must be in receipt of either Ontario Works or ODSP, or they have no source of income as they're brand new to Canada. They have no source of income as they're currently residing in a shelter. And lastly, no source of income as they're currently in custody. Now, those things are requirements for the portal, but not requirements for legal aid in total. So if you call the contact center, you can still own a property, you can still be working and still be eligible for legal aid. And there's also different legal matters that we can help you with. But just when the client portal at this time, these are the parameters. We're working on expanding all of it to accommodate any income stream, any legal matter that legal aid covers. But that at this juncture, that's just not the case. So I'll click continue. And opportunity to proceed in English and French is always available. Completely bilingual throughout the whole application. We're looking at expanding to other languages beyond English and French, but right now it is just English and French. Have you applied before? So if your client was the first example of they've dealt with legal aid, they had their CLT number, client number, they would click yes, we'd get the client number from them, we'd have some validation questions and allow them to proceed and create their profile. Today's example, we're just going to treat it as they're brand new to the system, and we're going to select no. So again, because I'm brand new, my opportunities are to make a new application. And if there's other, like, oh, I want to ask some questions, other will just prompt, the application will stop. It will give them all the information of our contact center, hours of operation, phone numbers, toll-free, Toronto location numbers to contact us. But right now, I'm just going to say we're going to make a new application. Do you reside in Ontario? I do. Again, you can live outside of Ontario and be eligible or make an application via the client portal. But with our demonstration, you reside in Ontario. What is your income? Here's the options we have. Ontario Works, ODSP. If this is a young person you're helping, they could select a youth living with a parent or caregiver. And if they're a young person currently residing in a shelter, then they would just select, I have no income living in a shelter. But if they are a youth outside of the shelter system and they're residing with their parent or caregiver, then we'll just pivot to the parent or caregiver situation to ensure they're in fact receiving OW or ODSP. Other, that's of course the countless other options of working full-time, part-time, EI, WSIB, cash jobs, whatever it is, those right now are outside the scope of the client portal and they'll be directed to call the contact center. But for our demonstration, I'm just going to select, I have no income, I'm living in a shelter currently, and select next. Do you own any real estate? I do not. Is your legal case in Ontario? It is. So here are different legal matters that the portal can accommodate at this time. Criminal charges, family law, children's aid, refugee and immigration. If your client had a landlord and tenant matter, a tribunal hearing, again, things that legal aid does help with. Unfortunately, we just can't service it right now through the client portal. That will change, but right now it's just these 4 options. I'm just curious if anybody in the chat has a preference if criminal charge, family, children's aid, refugee and immigration. If no preference, I'll just go to family law. Give me a second. If not, I'll just go to family. Okay, let's go to family next. So what do you need help with? So starting or responding to a family court case, changing a family court order or other. I'm looking for a divorce, any other family law related matters would direct them to contact us. But I'm going to select starting or responding to a family court case. Select next. Because it's a family law matter, we have 3 domestic violence questions. These questions are being asked to help us determine what services the client needs, how we can ensure that the lawyer, if they're eligible, has the correct coverage to complete the tasks that they need done. So does the other party cause you to fear for your safety or safety of your children? I'm just going to say yes. Of course, the client can say no, or they don't wish to answer. Same is true down here. Have you or your children ever experienced any physical violence by another party? I'll say yes. And lastly, has the other party tried to control you by telling you where to go, who you can talk to, limiting access to money, etc.? So I'm going to say yes for consistency and click next. Do you have a final court order involving the same person? You'll notice question marks at the end of some of our questions. This is just hover over text to help provide context or clarity for the clients to ensure that they understand what we're asking of them.
Sorry, John, someone has their hand up for a question.
Please.
You can go ahead, Tammy.
Can you guys hear me?
You're on mute, Tammy, but okay, now we can hear you.
Okay. So if the person who is applying for all of this,
yes,
do they get legal aid within their community or?
Okay, that's a great question. So if for anybody, whether I'm currently in St. Catharines, I'm a Toronto guy, or I'm in Thunder Bay, my certificate is a legal aid certificate that can be utilized by any approved roster member across the province. I could be in St. Catharines and my legal matter is in Kingston. I might want a Kingston lawyer because legal aid doesn't always pay for travel. So it's up to the client to pick their lawyer, the lawyer to accept the certificate. And normally I would say the normal course of action is you're picking someone close to you that you can meet with, that they can attend court for you. You know, if you're in North Bay and you pick a Toronto lawyer, can that lawyer get to you? Will legal aid pay for that travel? I mean, there are circumstances where that can happen, but it isn't a guarantee by any means.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
I wasn't sure if they were able to pick their own
100%.
lawyer or if one was assigned. So
actually, we're not allowed as a course of action. So I know everyone gave I'm a short-term legal aid employee of 31 years. My first 10 of those years were in the jails in Toronto and all the courts, mental health facilities in Toronto, and the Toronto head office, area office. And I can never tell you, oh, for this matter, you should really go see Paul Smith. Great lawyer. You'll really like that person. At best, I can give you a list of lawyers that you can make that determination. Unless there's mental health issues, that's when we might step in. And I'm sure Catherine could articulate that better than I can. I know she will shortly and later in the session. But legal aid will never direct a person, again, unless extenuating circumstances, like here's your lawyer. Okay. It's totally on the client's decision.
Okay.
Amazing. Great question. Do you have a final court order involving the same person? I do not. This is all new. What type of family law issues do you need help with? So we're going to say custody, access, and a restraining order. Again, whatever I select here in the background, when I select it, that will drive the coverage for that lawyer. If I'm determined to be eligible, that ensures, so if I pick child support, again, they make sure we have that coverage. There's hours for the lawyer to work on these things. I'll select next. Do you or the other party agree on the family law issues? We do not. Do we think we can communicate and come to an agreement? Unfortunately, that is not the case. So now I've completed the pre-screening. So there was a decision when we were building the portal. Do we get all the clients' name, date of birth, address up front, have them create a profile, go into our system, give us their email address, all these things, and then ask 3 questions and they say, oh, I'm in BC. And then we're like, oh, sorry, you need to call us. So we decided to do it this way, where they go through the pre-screening and we determine, oh, it looks like you're eligible. And they give them the opportunity to review all the questions and their responses. So if they see anything like, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to say yes to this one, I wanted to say no or not, prefer not to answer, they had the opportunity to come back, click, and change the answer. Now, depending on what they change could have impacts to the subsequent questions being asked. For example, if it's instead of a family law matter, it's really a criminal matter, which I've seen countless times. I'm sure all of us have seen it, where people come in and say, oh, I have a family law matter, but really they have bail papers in their hand because it's a domestic violence situation. So an IPV situation. So again, just depending on where you make the change, in our example, there's no changes, everything is correct, and we'll simply select next. Okay, and pardon me. Just so everybody knows, I'm currently in a test environment. This isn't our real production environment. So anything I'm doing here is not creating a real certificate or a real profile. It's just helping us complete testing. The date of birth. I'm going to enter a phone number here. And selecting this text box, agreeing to text messages, what this is allowing the client, when you log in, as we continue the process, you'll have an opportunity to get a two-factor authentication, like a 4-digit PIN. You can get it via email, and by selecting this method, you could also get a text. That's the only thing you'll ever be getting text-wise at this time from Legal Aid is your two-factor authentication. I'll just put in an address here. Just jumping all over the province because I have so many profiles in there. Because if I indicated that, oh, I've never applied before, and I put in information, and if the system recognizes it, saying, oh, actually, no, we do have a profile very similar to yours, they will stop the process. It will actually instruct them to call us, because what we're trying to avoid is duplication, and we definitely don't want to overlap two people that is not the same person. So just as information, if the client says, I've never applied before, but in fact they had, and we put in all their information, the system will recognize it and tell them to call. But this, again, is an example where this is totally brand new with no history with Legal Aid. Okay, so I don't think Zoom will let you see my email, but we can see here it's confirming your email. So right now, I don't think you're seeing it, but if you are by chance, I'm reviewing an email that just came to me, and it's giving me a link to click to confirm my email address. And this is, I'm agreeing to confirm my email page pops up. I click that. Pardon me. And what is happening now is that's triggering another email, which is what we call the portal invitation email. It is looking for, it's going to provide a client number and a temporary password to access to log into the client portal. If the individual had never applied for legal aid before and the email that they entered was unique to our system, to legal aid system, their login, their user ID will be their email address. But because my email is scattered all over this test environment, it just gave me this brand new client number. And I'll just jump back and get the temporary password, which I don't believe you guys are seeing because, again, it's in my inbox. I apologize for that. This is a Zoom thing we discovered. And just pasting in my my temporary password and click sign in. And once I sign in, this is the two-factor authentication process that they will be greeted with every subsequent time they log into the portal. So I'm just going to select email to be quick. Wait, I'll just jump over and grab it. 7580 is a number that was given. Click continue. And this, again, because I'm brand new, these are the terms and conditions to utilize the client portal. The client will see this one time and one time only. If they needed to review it in the future, it's on the home page and they can access it there. If they just wanted to see it at a later date. Right now, first, I'm just going to quickly go through it and click accept. And now, again, this is a one-time event. This is just another activation threshold the client has to go through. And I believe I remember the date of birth I created for this client. And here, this is somewhere where we see people, pardon me, get confused. They think they're to utilize the email, the PIN they just received. Pardon me. But in fact, they need to generate a new one. And again, this is just a one-time thing because it's my first time logging in. So I'm going to get a new 4-digit PIN. And this one is 5602. I'll come back here and type that in. Okay, that's good. So now we're just coming in. So the current password, that is the password that was provided in the portal invitation email. Now I'm going to create a new password for myself that's meaningful, that I'll always remember going forward. Here's a password recovery question. Right now we only have 5. We're going to expand this list in the near future. What city were you born? Mother's maiden name, dog's name, favorite color. What is your mother's name? So I'll just do city and do misspell Toronto, but there you go. Click submit. Password portal. And now we're just going to be completing the remainder of the application. So this is now client profile information. We have the gender question. We have a disclaimer here where we're wanting to get that information, why we are asking it. So I'll just select a gender. We have our immigration status. We have all the different options here for the client. Again, I'm just going to select one at random. Select next. Here we have our Aboriginal or Indigenous self-identifying question. This is asking the client if they self-identify as Aboriginal. If they indicated that in fact they do self-identify as either First Nation, Métis, or Inuit, they say yes. And then we give them the opportunity to indicate, is it First Nation, Inuit, or Métis, or if their experience is beyond those 3 options, they have the opportunity to select other. We have 2 follow-up questions. Do I recognize myself as status or non-status? I'll select status. Am I on reserve or off reserve? I select off reserve and select next. The next question is our race-based question. Again, we have a disclaimer here, letting them know why we're asking this information. The client has the opportunity to select whatever is applicable to them. Here, they have the opportunity to select prefer not to answer, or they don't know. We're making changes to the Indigenous self-identifying question to give them the opportunity also to select prefer not to answer. That was noted in an earlier session, and we take the feedback incredibly seriously, and we're actually actioning that improvement as we speak. So because I identified earlier as Aboriginal, I'm just going to keep that consistent and say that here as well, and then select next. Now we're going to the financial stream of questions. Here you'll see what best describes your living situation. We have question marks at the end here. This is just giving a plain language explanation for the client. When we say shelter, we say you are staying in a shelter. Renter, you pay rent to live there and buy your own food. Paying boarder, you pay someone to provide you meals in a place like here. So when I pick the drop down, I indicated earlier in the interview that I know income living in a shelter, so I'll keep that consistent. What is your family size? Please include yourself. So again, we have information what legal aid determines family size. I have the opportunity to either just come off here to the right-hand side and use the up or down arrows, or I can simply just type 4, whatever is easier. And of course, this entire opportunity is, I'm on a desktop with us today, but I could be doing this on my tablet, on my phone. It is totally mobile, formatted. You won't see all the questions in the same layout just because it's on a much smaller screen, of course, but all the same questions, the same opportunities are provided via mobile device. Liquid assets, again, what does that mean for legal aid? That's the explanation here. I will put the amount I have. Is anyone helping you complete the application? And when we say that, this means that someone is assisting you with completing the application in your presence. I'll say yes. Please select from the list. So here are all the different groups of individuals that could be potentially helping a client. We have a couple ones that we're going to add to this list. If there's anything that anyone sees that would be helpful and more representative of situations that for them particularly, or situations that they know, please feel free to put it in the chat or let me know, and we'll take note of it and we'll add it in the future. So here I'll just put my name. First name is fine. Phone number can either be my number or the number of my workplace, whatever you prefer. And my email can be my personal email or my workplace email. And I select next. As this spins, our next page will be the lawyer page. We had the question earlier, and this will be kind of reflective of the actual process of how individuals can select a lawyer. So once the blue circle stops spinning and we go to the page, we will see a question, do you have a lawyer, essentially? And if I say no, a new page will kind of refresh and it will display an opportunity to select a link of what we call the Find a Lawyer tool. That tool gives us the opportunity to get a list of lawyers. Sorry about that delay. We select no, and here's the link. Find a lawyer in your area who does legal aid work. So I would click that link. It would open up a new page. I would enter that it's family law, and I would put my, whether it's my postal code, my city, whatever, however I want to define my location. And then I can get a list of lawyers within a 5-kilometer parameter, 10, 20, 100 kilometers. And it will give me all the approved lawyers in the area that I can help, that will help me find a lawyer. And if you're having trouble, of course, you can call us and we can help with that process as well. But if I say, in fact, I do have a lawyer, the page will change again. It'll ask, have I paid any money to a lawyer? If I say yes, we'll want to know, well, oh, you have. Well, tell us how much you paid. Now, if I just say I gave them $40, no problem, we'll continue. And then they'll ask, select your lawyer's name. So I'm going to select that button, and sorry, just a test environment that hit it a second time there. So this, again, this is because it's a family law matter. This is giving me every family law lawyer in the province that can accept legal aid certificates at this time. They met all our criteria. They've been approved. They're on our roster. And if my lawyer's last name happens to be Young, I don't have to scroll through, I think it's well over 1,000. I can actually type in Young and it'll do a smart search and pull back any lawyer that matches that criteria. And I'm just going to pick one again at random. And once I pick that lawyer, it'll populate their phone number, their address. We even have a link to Google Maps to help the client ensure, oh, this is in fact the lawyer I'm looking for, and not, you know, I'm in Toronto, but I just picked one in Thunder Bay by accident because they share the same name. It's just giving a little safety check to ensure that they get the right person. And again, we give them an understanding to changing lawyers is actually a difficult task with legal aid. So to pick your lawyer as carefully as possible, because it's an actually application process to change your lawyer once you start the process with an individual. I'll select next. And now we're on the last page. This is our consent and declaration statement. This is just something the client, of course, would review very carefully. Just for time, I'm just going to scroll quickly, click accept, and say okay. And now, starting from scratch, no involvement with legal aid. A lot of talking from me. I promise you, it wouldn't be this longer process if it wasn't my ramblings. They've completed it. Now they're in our system. An application's been submitted. The system is now actually going through all the responses that have happened in production. And if we're doing this for real, it would be usually about 10 to 15 seconds for a decision to happen. And that decision is going to be either A, an automated approval of legal aid, or B, is going to go to one of what we call our work list for staff to review and to determine their eligibility. So I can't really share my screen to show you the email that they received, but I was going to walk you through quick run through the rest of the opportunities within the client portal. So my documents, again, if we were doing this, if you were servicing a client in reality, at 7 p.m. tonight, my documents would populate with what we'd call a confirmation of legal eligibility. I'm pretty positive that the application we completed met all the criteria. So it's going to be issued. And tonight they'll get a document indicating all of the coverage their lawyer has received. Because I selected a lawyer, the lawyer in real time, just as when I'm finding out via email, 10 to 15 seconds, that lawyer receives a notification also letting them know, oh, a client has a certificate, they log onto their portal and they can see the coverage. So if I were to pick up the phone and say to my lawyer, forgive me, I think it was Vivian, hi, I just got legal aid, they could log in real time and see, oh, yes, I can see you've been approved. Great. Let's book our first meeting. So the wheels just gets going really quickly. This history tab is just all the documents legal aid ever sends and they view come into this repository and they can see it indefinitely. So the consent and declaration we signed earlier, you can see that residing here. They could click it, opens up, and they can see that same document. And the same will be true at 7 p.m. Document comes, they see it in the recent tab, they click it. As soon as they come off it, it will live in the history tab. Legal aid applications. This is an opportunity if they need to make a subsequent application, whether it's today, next week, next year, they just click start a new application. They don't have to do all the onboarding stuff. It's right here and they just launch off into another application.
Sorry, John, I just wanted to give a note on the time.
Thank you.
Just
okay, for sure. Sorry.
No worries.
Thank you. Just 2 more minutes. History, just if they stop during the middle of an application, they have the opportunity to pick it up within a 7-day window and complete it. Active cases, this is a great tool. This is where we find out, in fact, my application was approved. Outside of the email, this is a status page of all their applications. They can see that it's been approved. If down the road it was canceled for a reason, this is where they would see it as canceled. My other application I just submitted, in theory, that went to a work list, they would see a decision pending, and then it was either subsequently issued or approved. Kate? Do you have a question? Or if someone else has a question? I saw a hand.
What would be the main reason that someone does not get accepted?
Via the client portal. It could be their legal matter, which if they got this far, it'd be unusual, but it's possible. It could be they just told me that they gave the lawyer $5,000. They just told me that oh, my bank account, I got 10 grand in there. It wouldn't be refused from the client portal. The client portal will never refuse it, but it would have someone else look at it. And if I went in and made another family law application, just the fact that the system already has a legal aid certificate me for that same legal matter, it will see that and say, oh, we just need to have someone else look at it. So those are a couple of the reasons why it might not automate a decision. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that they're not eligible. It just means something that they gave us or something in their history with us flagged it where, oh, okay, we just need a staff member to look at it. We are not, the system is not able. I mean, we designed it as such where a flag has
Even
been checked.
beyond that, there are reasons that people would not.
Oh, countless reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
Countless. Yes. Yeah, I if I had time, I would ramble for minutes with you. But yeah, there's a great question though. My file upload is just an opportunity to allow the client, if they ever had anything to provide to legal aid asked them for something, this is where they could do it. I need your bank account. They click finance. If they're on their phone, they can take a picture of it, or on their computer, upload the file and click it, and it goes onto one of our work lists. One of our staff review it and they see it. My profile, client is currently residing in your shelter. Things change for them. They get their own residence. They have the opportunity to come in here, click edit, and they can change everything except their first name, last name, and date of birth. They can change their immigration status, their preferred language. If they wanted everything to come to them in French, they would change English to French, and they can change their address. And they also have the opportunity to change their email as well, if that's relevant. And of course, they can change their password and their password hints. And lastly, we have resources. That's a find a lawyer tool, client satisfaction surveys that tell us how wonderful it is. We have FAQs and a glossary of all the terms that legal aid uses. And of course, the opportunity to change from English to French or French to English. And I apologize for speeding up there. So that's it. And I apologize for the length of it. And I think Kate is up next. I think, or it could be Catherine. Sorry.
It starts with a K. I think it's Catherine's next.
Sorry, Catherine.
It is Catherine, but it will be Kate after. So the Ks will follow now. And then I think we double checked. There's no problems for questions at this point in time. But if you think of any more for John, we'll have some time at the end still. So this channel that I'm speaking about is the Assisted Applications channel. And it provides service providers the ability to submit a form that they fill in with the applicant who's seeking their initial application for a legal aid certificate. And I forgot to turn the video on. Sorry, I apologize. Just do that now. So the channel is available in English and French. That's what we produce the forms in that get emailed in. One of the benefits of this is if the service provider works outside of normal business hours, the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, then the form can be faxed in at any time. Also, if the service provider speaks another language, and they can then translate from the client's basic language into and onto this form and complete the form and send it in. We have about 550 of these coming in a month. They provide assistance to some of our most vulnerable clients. The applications are processed by the LAO staff through the information received on the forms that are submitted to a centralized email box. The processing is set as a business response to be about 3 to 5 business days, but we are able to complete many of these in less time. The eligibility is determined at the first instance by the information that's provided on the form that's reviewed by staff. Lawyers and other select service providers are using the assisted application forms for those who don't speak or read English or French, may have low literacy skills. They may live in communities and institutions without access to the phone or the internet. They might have difficulty traveling to offices, courts, or clinics, or they just may not be comfortable with technology. They may consider also using these forms for people who don't have access to a phone or may just be not comfortable using a phone, and also sometimes for youth who are navigating the criminal charges and court system. Like this portal, the service is offered to those who have a fixed or low income, so OW, ODSP, no income, new to in Canada with no income, or in custody. Again, the coverage is similar to the portal in that it's criminal matters, child protection matters, family law where domestic violence has been experienced by the applicant, and immigration and refugee matters. The option is limited to stakeholders and service providers that have received the training in the overview of the program. Currently, that consists of any roster lawyers. So when we're talking earlier about certificate lawyers, those are roster lawyers. So someone who's involved in the certificate program can complete one of these forms. Our LAO duty counsel can do these forms. Staff lawyers, including our senior counsel program in family and criminal. Also our Bridges Counsel who do our 24/7 criminal response. The Office of the Public Guardian and Trustee uses the form, as well as select mental health workers and a number of Indigenous friendship centers. So for our shelter workers, it's something to know then that anyone who is coming in and giving summary legal advice in your facility, normally they would be either a duty counsel or a roster lawyer, and they should have access to this form. That's the end of the assisted applications. Is there any questions before I pass to Kate and Lisa? Thank you. Kate and Lisa, your turn. You're up.
Thanks, Catherine. I'm gonna let Lisa start. So go ahead, Lisa.
Good morning again, everyone. Like I said, my name is Lisa Harvey. I'm a legal aid worker working out of our North Bay location. I would say the majority of our clients get assistance through our contact center service options. Locally, however, we do assist vulnerable clients who struggle to access those other service options, which may include taking their legal aid application. Of course, that will depend on staff availability in each of our locations, status checks, submitting their requested information, so consent forms, contribution agreements. Sometimes we assist them in finding counsel, not necessarily referring them to a specific lawyer, but reviewing the lists and make sure that they have all the names and numbers that they need. Referrals to our duty counsel, both family and criminal, and to other agencies, so matters that we might not cover, or to mental health supports, things like that. Legal Aid also offers duty counsel, court-based services for financially eligible clients in the Ontario Court Family, Child Protection, and Family Responsibility Office courts. Another service that you may be familiar with is our FLICS, Family Information Centers. FLICS offer assistance and information on family law issues for financially eligible clients. They can also provide referrals to the certificate program. I would check your local office for locations and schedules. Some offices may do it first come, first serve on certain days and times. Some might maybe by appointment, or and some might be by telephone. And you'll see a list of all of our service locations for the Northeast, and I think there's another slide for our Northwest as well. So subject to any questions, or if Kate has anything to add, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. I'll just add that LAO prioritizes individual vulnerabilities and is committed to ensuring our services are easily available to these specialized groups. We recognize that the most vulnerable are at risk if they face challenges that prevent them from accessing our services through phone, website, or through lawyers. For this reason, while not the primary access channel, as Lisa mentioned, in-person assistance remains available when required. An individual in need of help at a local office or in court will always be served to get help connecting to services or help with a specific case. Local staff are attuned to client needs and respond promptly, taking a hands-on approach to work with judicial partners to expedite service where possible. And Lisa mentioned some of the things that staff locally are available to assist with in person. Staff are available in local courts and offices to provide in-person assistance in connecting people to service when necessary. In-person access channels are available for those who have various challenges that make accessing LAO services through major channels very difficult or impossible. And I do think there is an additional slide for the Northeast services, unless we've passed it already, but I don't know if anyone has any questions about in-person service. We're happy to take those now. Great, thank you.
Yep. So we have Northwest services on the slide as well, if those are relevant to you as well.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome. All right, so I will pass it on to Stacey then.
Okay, everyone, that does conclude our formal presentation. Thank you for joining us. On the screen there is our external relations email, so please reach out to us with any questions or comments. We will be following up today with some resources to assist you with referring to our services, including a step-by-step instructions to create an online account with the client portal. So we'll send you that. But please continue to share your client experiences with us on these access channels and any thoughts that you have that we've shared with you today. Feedback really does help us improve the functionality and overall experience as we work to expand and enhance these channels in the future. We will also be providing you with a survey in an email, but also it's in the chat here. So we would appreciate that just so that we can improve on these sessions in the future. Before we exit out, does anyone have any final comments or questions?